It's been 13 years since the Syrian people rose up against their dictator. This is what their country looks like today. Aleppo, once a bustling city, now a scene of unimaginable destruction. So how did it get so bad? Let's go back to the beginning. In 2011, inspired by the Arab Spring, Syrians took to the streets. They wanted freedom and democracy. What they got was a brutal crackdown. President Bashar al-Assad answered peaceful protests with bullets. That's when things started to get really ugly. As the violence escalated, more and more people took up arms. At first, it was just a few defected soldiers and angry civilians. But soon entire brigades had formed. By 2012, the war was in full swing. That's when jihadist groups like ISIS moved in. They seized large parts of the country and raised their flags over ancient cities. Soon, Syria became a scene of a horror show. Civilians were trapped, starved, and slaughtered. Entire villages were wiped off the map. And those who survived fled to neighboring countries. Over 13 million Syrians have fled their homes. Some found shelter in neighboring countries. Others weren't so lucky. Hundreds of thousands have drowned trying to reach Europe. It's the biggest refugee crisis in modern history. As the fighting raged on, new alliances formed. The US, Russia, Iran, and Turkey all joined in. They backed different sides and sent weapons and warplanes. Russia's intervention turned the tide in Assad's favor. With their help, he retook most of the lost territory. ISIS also lost ground. By 2019, they were driven out of most of Syria. But at what cost? Entire cities were leveled. Millions of people were killed, and the country was in ruins. In 2021, Assad and Putin met in Russia to celebrate their victory. But for the Syrian people, the war is still going on. It's just on silent. There's no longer massive airstrikes or ground battles. But life under Assad's rule is still a nightmare. Basic services don't exist. The economy is shattered, and people still live in fear. This is a story that doesn't end with the last airstrike or the fall of the last rebel. This is a story of an unfinished revolution, a fight for freedom that's far from over. For Syrians, the struggle continues. They live among the ruins of a country that was once one of the most beautiful in the world. This has been Echo Narrations. And if you want to see more stories like this, you can do so right here.